Welcome to Hockey Night Insider Wish Cup Edition. We have a special guest here, Gabe John, and we want to talk to him about the Elite Draft League that they got going on in San Diego. So welcome to the show, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here, and we're really looking forward to another season of the Elite Draft League SD.
Now, let's talk about the Elite Draft League because I don't know the history on how it started. So can you take me through that process? How did it come to fruition?
We knew that the community in San Diego, where we play in the Escondido rink, was just so cohesive, so strong. You know, there's such a good lot vibe. And we also saw at the same time that we wanted to promote more people to get into the sport. And we thought, what better way than to give the boys that are already playing and have a community built than to give them a better spotlight to really come and bring their skill and be proud. And so we really like to come up with the coin phrase of community and compete, because they come out strong. But really at the end of the day, what really unites in the undercurrent of the league is just how strong the community is. So we wanted to give them a platform where they could come out and compete and just shine as athletes, but also just let that community speak for itself. And I think that we've done a good job at just getting that strong base of believers and players. And it's just built strong momentum throughout the first couple of seasons. And we're ready to rock and roll for our third.
Now, when you say we, can you tell me who are the people behind the scene that creates this league? Nothing
would happen without our commissioner, Josh Fontaine. He is absolutely the heart behind the Elite Draft League San Diego. He's been a hyper connector for the last couple of years in the roller hockey community, not only for our Elite Draft League, but also when people come in from out of town who need a team, they often look to Josh to, get them hooked up, for local tournaments and things like that. He's got his fingers in a lot of different hockey conversations. He's passionate about growing the sport, and he's speaking through his actions too. So, not only is he connecting, but, he's really the driving force behind the Elite Draft League in San Diego. So he's really the heart and soul and the heartbeat of the league. And then of course there's me. I help out with, the media, talking to you here, as well as, just getting the players, rallied and enthusiastic about this opportunity that they have, making sure we do things like the media on the website and the post-game interviews, and just make it a little bit splashy, because that's what we want. We want them to have that opportunity. And then we've got Callan behind the mic. We give that nice in-game experience with him doing the game commentary and the announcements and the live action. So that's great. And he also has interest in media output as well. So Callum McClurg, if you're not following him, Callum McClurg, follow him on Instagram. And then we've got, over the last 2 seasons, we've just been getting other people wanting to help out, from photography to, the Hoffman twins just doing a little bit of, ad hoc media promotion and things like that. So the community has definitely been a nice upwelling. Phil Breezy has been great with the videography and the tech side of things and helping us out. So it's definitely been a nice upwelling from that community base. But yeah, I can't end with the name as well. Josh Fontaine has really been the heartbeat.
I think that's what I love most about roller hockey is the community. And when people actually get together to do something, they really are doing it from a place of passion, first and foremost, right? Especially roller hockey. Everyone knows that there's not a lot of money in roller hockey. It's a lot of people's effort coming together and resources that they put into it to make things happen. And, when I met you guys, when I heard about the league, I was just like, this is great. And I think what I like the most is from what you guys do is the interviews that you do before the game, after the game, because, a lot of the bigger tournaments, you don't see a lot of that, right? And for me, it's like, well, how do you create fans if the fans don't know who the teams are and the players, individual players are? And I think you've done a real good job doing that. That's a real key element to really growing the game and to bring fans to the teams, right? So tell me a little bit about what your guys' plans are for 2026.
First and foremost, we really want to make sure that the level of compete stays strong and really elevates year over year. So it's not as focused on team expansion as it is on quality hockey. So we still are going to continue with the 4-team format and, incrementally work on elevating the level of skill and talent that we bring into the league. So with that said, I love your point about, how do we get more people involved from an audience standpoint? And I think that comes down to just, again, Josh's efforts in connecting, but also the media efforts in making it not just another game and another league, but an event that the families can get involved with, and the kids and the youth programs as well. A couple times this last EDL season, we did have a couple of the youth programs between games, and that was really cool because then the kids are there as well. They can see what they can aspire to be as a roller hockey player, and that there is room for skill growth as well as a opportunity to just build a tight, cohesive community through the sport. So I want to say that we're going to be doing more of just elevating the skill level as the talent comes in, but also make sure that we are focusing on how do we attract people to the rink to see the games, and how do we get the youth there as well, so that we can ultimately funnel more kids into the sport that we love and make sure that it's just rocking and rolling for years to come.
EDL League is 2 years old, correct? Mm-hmm. So now at the rink that you play at, where they play out of, there is rec leagues there, correct?
Correct.
Now, what is the process of like these rec leagues teams and players to graduate to maybe becoming part of one of these EDL teams?
That's a really great question, and I think that's something that we could improve on at the community through ESCO, is how do we get a learn to skate program and get people more involved at the rink, so that there is a funneling from intro to being able to play to being able to compete at a competitive level. And it's got to start somewhere, right? And ultimately, that is one of the goals of the EDL, is just to give spotlight to competitive roller hockey players so that we can showcase talent and how awesome the sport is, because you said, we love the sport, and that's what drives people to continue playing even at our age. And we want to showcase that. So, we are a highlight and a beacon for kids that want to come in and say like, hey, that looks fun. Let's do that. Let's do more of that. But there is still plenty of room for improvement as far as the integrating programs that get people from learning to skate, introducing them to the game, and into teams. And be interested to hear your viewpoint on that as well. And with some of the programs that you're working with.
Having a funnel system, I think, is very important. But what's most important is to start up programs. And that's why me and my partner, Eddie Delgado in Colorado, we created Top Cheese with the intention of taking the model of A1 basketball and creating it for roller hockey, which is the Top Cheese teams that would basically promote roller hockey in a very high skill level and entertaining aspect of it. So then that'll bring people that have never seen hockey and get them interested in it, and then start searching for locations that have hockey and then get into hockey. So with Top Cheese, we have an initiative called Hockey Without Boundaries. And that's a startup program where we wanted to create a system of least path of resistance for parents to not be able to say no to, right? So the kid can have an opportunity to be exposed to hockey. And we primarily try to focus on areas that don't have rinks close to them. We are happy to use blacktops, tennis courts, whatever. You don't need a rink to be introduced to hockey. So what we do is we partner up with companies, or we fundraise our own money, and it's a nonprofit. So we provide a stick, a ball, and a jersey and rink time for free for anyone that's never played hockey and that wants to try to play hockey. And for the parents, it's a big relief because, as you know, we did roller hockey because it was cheaper than ice. Now it's kind of, that gap is slowly starting to close up, right? But the entry level to ball hockey is still the best one because, first of all, everyone knows how to run and walk.
Sure.
So there's no learning curve of how to skate. And I feel sometimes like if you throw a kid on skates too soon, it could become a bad experience because they slip, they chip their elbow, they hurt their tailbone because you're trying to learn too much, right? You're trying to learn how to skate and learn how to do a stick. That's a little overwhelming for your senses to really grasp on. So ball hockey, you already know how to walk. So all you got to really focus is on the stick and stick handling and trying to understand the rules of the game. So the intention there is to do that startup program where we can implement these to say like a San Diego rink where we will partner up and do that for you, where you don't have to worry about the sticks, you don't have to worry about the balls. We'll pay for the rink time. And then once they're ready to graduate to roller hockey, we give them to you. It's like, hey, now you guys take it from here. And that's just a way of really trying to create new players in the long run.
And that's so beautiful. And it is true in the sense that, it is overwhelming because skating's hard, but that's also one of the things that makes roller hockey and just hockey in general such a beautiful game, because you're doing so much on top of being on skates. But I can see how, introducing that all at once could be just a flurry of frustration under the improper setting. So I think that's a great model. But at some point, we do need to get the kids on skates somehow, because I think I truly fell in love with the game once I saw just how badass skating itself was.
Correct.
So hopefully we can find ways to not only keep building this funnel, but also find to your point, ways to, reduce, barrier to entry and path of least resistance that also involves skating somehow. And I think once we do, people will just love the sport because what's not to love? It's fast, competitive, it takes dexterity, it takes, athleticism, it's teamwork. So falling in love with the sport is not hard, but giving people the opportunity to do so is the challenge right now.
Correct. So when you guys are ready to have that discussion, we're more than happy to maybe come out in San Diego and do one of those for you guys.
Yeah, it sounds like a beautiful funnel. And how is it working thus far? So
we had our first one September 20th out in Colorado, and there's an outdoor rink that they don't really use. So we utilize that because obviously indoor rinks, it's a little more pricey.
Sure.
We partner up with Aurora City. They basically allow us to use the rink for free. They're really supportive about the kids' programs. So they thought it was a great thing to do for the kids, get them off the streets, give them something to do. They have this facility. It's not being used. So they're 100% behind us in doing that. So it's been phenomenal.
That's
and
terrific.
like anything, it just takes time, having the conversations, and getting the right people on board and just moving forward, trying to, keep going forward and finding the things that we could do better.
And I'm sure it'll continue to grow, but have any of those 15 players yet gotten onto skates?
Not yet, because our primary focus is to just be that part of the funnel system that's missing, because we already have people that have leagues and rinks. We want to be able to say, okay, if you're ready to play roller hockey, go over here. Right. And then that way it's a perfect marriage for both of us. You guys don't really want to do the ball hockey thing entry. You're too busy with the roller hockey stuff. So great. We'll come in and do that. And then we'll just funnel them to you. It's a process, right? So it's like an assembly line. So how I look at it.
Yeah. You're building at the top of the funnel. We're getting them.
Yeah, we're building players, and we're at the bottom, and then we just funnel them to you.
Well, I look forward to hearing how that grows and hearing how it goes, the progression from getting them from the ball hockey onto skates. That'll be cool.
Love it.
Epic.
And thank you for wearing the top cheese.
Absolutely.
Because you are a top cheese player. I mean, you're a phenomenal player. I know you've played on Team USA for certain things.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah, man. That's when I first met you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was
fun.
really great, man. So I really applaud what you're doing in San Diego. Thank you again, Gabe. I look forward to seeing your guys' season again. And if there's anything I can do to help, just say the word, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate the time here. And if you do want to follow along with the EDL season 2026, Elite Draft League SD on Instagram, as well as the URL elitedraftleaguesd.com.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with another guest.
Elevate your event to new heights with R&R Productions, a proud media partner of the Elite Draft League. From captivating visuals to immersive coverage, we specialize in bringing your moments to life with unparalleled creativity and expertise. Whether it's live streaming, highlight reels, or social media buzz, we've got you covered. So trust R&R Productions to amplify your brand and showcase your talent like never before. Experience the power of Elite Media Partnership with R&R Productions.
Welcome back to Hockey Night Insider Wish Cup Edition. Our next guest needs no introduction, John Schiavo. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to get chatting with you. I know we've been preparing this for a while, so happy to be here in California.
When I first saw you come on the scene, I mean, it's all just been Instagram. Thank God for technology that we're able to have those connections happen, right? But I know you've been part of the Wish Cup since the inception of it, and now you guys are here in California. Tell me, you know, what the atmosphere is like in Nashville for those that have never been there. Let's start there.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Obviously, what Colby and family has been doing, I've been family friends with them for way before this started, having family dinners and holidays at their house. So I've been honored to be a part of this and help grow it with the little bit that I'm doing. But their amazing team has grown it tremendously, obviously down in Nashville. So to see it grow to California, for all the right reasons, working with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and giving back a lot, it's just a huge testament to them of doing all the right things and also growing the game. That's
probably my favorite part, is attaching a good cause to roller hockey, because I think that kind of breaks the ice in the sense that it's not about really being the best. It's about coming together, having fun for a good cause, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we need a lot more of that when it comes to roller hockey, at least, because all the other major sports do it. And we're not reinventing it. I just think sometimes we get so wrapped up in the sport and things that we do that we forget that, hey, if this is a vehicle we can use to bring a cause and bring awareness, that we should do it, right?
Absolutely. And obviously it being in their family and them having a great attachment to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and it benefiting Asher and him going through his wish, I think it opens up a lot of people's eyes of what that company, that brand is trying to do. And it's awesome for him to start this, and now we're really rolling with it.
Now, I don't really know your full story, so I'm just going to take you back in time a little bit. What was your introduction to hockey?
So my dad always played hockey back on Long Island. Grew up in the city, so he was playing more like street hockey, rec hockey. And then when I was really, really young, we moved to Long Island, and I think he started playing at Rapid Fire Arena, which was like my home rink where Roadrunners, Black Ice, we all play out of. Jay Miro runs that rink right now. But I think that was in 1995, 1996. I was 1 year old, 2 years old, and I think he was just playing there and kind of right away went out of the womb. The Rangers won 1994. I have a mini hockey stick in my hand and all the pictures that I see when I'm young, and kind of fell in love with it that way, you know, through my family, through my dad and mom, just having me at the rink.
That's interesting you say the 90s, because that's when like roller hockey started booming out here. It was like blowing up. So it's funny, kind of like you being into hockey, it was just bound for you to progressively be into hockey. Too bad the RHI is not around, because I think you'd be playing in that, you know, today, which a lot of the other players say that they wish, you know, it was still around.
100%. I say it all the time. Like, as I was older and starting to play pro roller hockey, you look up all those old videos, and it was, you know, sometimes hard to find some great videos, but then you hear some of the stories from legends that played in it and guys that I've got to meet when I was younger coming up. And for sure, I think that'd be the dream for myself, at least. Like, roller hockey's always been more of the passion for me. I had a fairly good ice hockey career. I played in the minors, never made it to the NHL, been in NHL camps, you know, gone through the tour, which I'm super blessed for. But at the same time, always being on my wheels was more comfortable, and the passion for me. I just love it so much, have fun with it. I always tell the kids at my training facility, like, I feel more comfortable on my rollerblades than I do in my sneakers.
That's interesting you say that, because, you know, I've been asking the kids, what do you like more, ice or roller? And most of them have said roller, because of how much less pressure there is in roller versus ice hockey, where it's like you're trained from the very beginning, like NHL's the goal, and that's always like the emphasis of like working hard and, you know, doing what you need to do. But in roller hockey, what a lot of the kids are saying is that they like to come. What the favorite part of coming to a tournament is that they get to hang out with other teams. Mm-hmm. And in ice hockey, that's not really traditionally what you do, right? Like, when you go play another team's like, no, that's the enemy. Totally. You don't mingle with them, and it's like that with the parents too. So I love that. So now let's talk about, you know, your career as roller hockey. I mean, I know I've seen you on ice, on the 3-ice thing and things like that, but let's talk about the roller hockey and you know, your rink that you work out of, and tell us a little bit like what your goals are for 2026.
Yeah, the big ones for 2026 is obviously growing our brand in Minnesota. Eagan, Minnesota, we have Best Shift Training. We just opened our new facility there. We just moved locations right up the street. We got a bigger roller hockey rink. We have sport court in there. We also have a gym attached. We have a ton of ice hockey players in Minnesota now training on wheels, which is so fun for me to see. Obviously it's worked for me. It's worked for a ton of other players. I think ice hockey's, looking at roller hockey a little bit differently lately, even though a lot of us that have been cultured with it know that it helps your ice hockey game. So yeah, we're using a ton of wheels in Minnesota, which is great. We have one youth league. So when the ice comes out, we play roller on that rink for a couple months, which is amazing. Joe Dustin helps me run that. And then we have one adult league. Same thing. When the ice comes out of another rink, we have a couple months. Boom, we have our adult league there with Justice Foss. So 2 separate entities, but it's something that all 3 of us working together, pushing to grow roller big time in Minnesota, because from what I see, the knowledge of hockey in Minnesota is out of this world. In the winter, rinks everywhere, beautiful culture of hockey. Everyone knows how to play. A lot of people know the game, even if they don't know how to play. So getting them into something that we love and we see the passion for, I see it growing tremendously. So whether that's growing our training facility and getting more people involved in roller hockey, also training for ice hockey. And then when it comes to bringing teams now out of Minnesota, we have the Best Shift Bandits. We came to Nashville last year, went to Ohio as well for Wish Cup. So just tapping into that a little bit as well. So hopefully we could grow that too. And yeah, 3 ice, working with the Frost and the PWHL. So many layers. I'm very, very blessed to have all these layers that I'm trying to achieve all at the same time. But then again, it's awesome that I'm here already in 2026 and didn't really have this on my calendar either.
Speaking about Minnesota, I did get to experience Hockey Day in Minnesota. And I'm going to tell you that changed my life in regards to how I see hockey in a hockey town. And I feel like we can learn a lot from that, because it's very town supported. And I feel like roller hockey's kind of missing that. We have the community, but we just haven't been able to connect the town to it, right? So how important is that, would you say?
I think it's super important. Me getting obviously really into the Minnesota scene, you don't understand it until you're really, really there, like you said.
I agree.
So me living there and seeing a JV game before a varsity game, seeing all the families come out and support the community. A lot of the rinks are really, really close to the schools that they go to. So obviously that's at the high school range, but they grow up playing, looking forward to playing for that high school team, which is a beautiful thing. That happens a lot in Europe ice hockey as well, where they kind of play for that association all the way up. And for sure, roller hockey is a different culture where we might not have as much high school hockey or, playing for your school in middle school or younger and coming up. But the cool thing about this is obviously we have some awesome teams that a lot of us had played for and not really bounced around, but roller hockey, you can bounce around a lot. So just depends on who you are, but the Minnesota culture, like you physically can't unless you move. So watching them support and bleed their colors and support those teams, I think also for the kids, like you're a celebrity at school too, from hockey, which that doesn't happen in many places. I would say the places I've seen, Texas or down South Alabama, like you're a star if you play football. But in Minnesota, you're a star if you're on the hockey team.
Now, you think someday roller hockey can get there? Because I just feel if we can get the scholastic side of it, and especially schools that already have ice hockey, if they can put a roller program in there during the summer when they don't have hockey, I think we can get there. But it's like, what do you think is holding that back to really adopt roller hockey for their program?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say. There's so many layers to this. I think there's so many people doing the right things for the game and it is being pushed in the right direction. It's always going to be like the side by side with ice hockey. Same weekends I hear here, there's players still playing ice hockey this weekend, and that's tough. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to miss a game in their season, but it just shows a tribute to roller hockey of how much they love it and how much they want to play. Because I did the same exact thing when I was playing ice hockey. If I could have missed the game, I would have missed the game for roller hockey. But it's just a tough spot to put your team in, your family in. It's obviously really expensive as well. You don't want to miss things, but we all wanted to play these roller hockey games. So it's a very hard thing. Hopefully it is growing in the right direction. It looks like it is. I don't know enough about the college roller hockey scene. I support it. I really, really like it. I hope that grows even more as well, because I think there's a lot of ice hockey players that are on those bubbles that maybe could pick the right school and still play the game they love and have some fun with it. But at the same time, you have really good ACHA ice hockey right now as well. So you can play D1 ice all the way down to club ice, but it's still professional, run the right way, all the things like that. And a lot of those kids all play roller hockey, which is fun to see, but not a perfect answer. And I don't think about it often. I just hope that this game is growing in the right direction, because I love it more than anything else in the world.
I think it's just about having the conversations, and bringing it up like we are, because I do love the college teams that are out there for roller hockey, and I think it's starting to grow little by little. And if anything, at least they're able to get an education out of it, which is great, because before it's like, well, what do you get out of roller hockey really? Unless you have those things in place, like the parents are gonna be like, you need to go back to ice hockey because you get a scholarship. There's pro, there's minor league,
Totally.
So I hope that someday we can get back to it. But it's really a passion, why we do roller hockey. And so let's shift gears now, talking about passion. I know you coach as well. Tell me what you're doing with coaching.
Yeah, I'm coaching the PWHL Frost out of Minnesota. What an honor it's been to coach them, and I'm their skills coach. This is my second season. It's been absolutely amazing working with the team. Something I didn't know was really coming. So that last year when the opportunity arose, I was so excited to jump. Had to slow down playing professional ice hockey for myself to take this job, but working with the Frost has been an absolute honor. First season, it's their second season, so we went back-to-back championships. We just got our rings the other day. They're absolutely beautiful. I posted all over social media. But being a part of it, being a part of how the league is growing, professional women's hockey is growing.
Yes.
I think it's an honor to be a part of it at these growing stages. And in season 3, we look really, really sharp. But as of this week, we're on Olympic break. We have several players for USA and Czechia going over to play in the Olympics. So another reason why I'm available to be here running in the camp and playing in Wish Cup Cali. So amazing working with them, and can't wait to get back at it after the Olympics.
It's been a pleasure to have you. I've been chasing you down for a while, but I know you have a very rigorous schedule. And the last thing I want to talk about is social media, right? Because I know you do put a lot of effort into it. And a lot of these kids, they're so good with social media that I think it's going to be something that's normal. But like you and I, we kind of had to learn it. These kids that are growing up in it are whizzes. So tell me what that's like. What's for kids that are maybe thinking about being an influencer. A lot of them don't know how much time it really takes, right? And when you make these brand deals, there are responsibilities that you got to do. So what would be your words of encouragement or some sort of like wisdom that you can give them? Like, if you're thinking about getting into this, you need X, Y, and Z to really be successful at it.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely a full-time job. When I first started, obviously I was doing it for fun, and it led to sponsorships and, free equipment and video shoots and fun content of doing tricks. To be totally honest, like I just do it to grow the game. Like that's my biggest reason why I'm on social media. If I wasn't doing it for that reason, growing the game, showing this beautiful roller hockey game that we have, putting up fun clips, I wouldn't have anything. I think I would delete it all in a heartbeat. But I do know the connections I make around the world from being on social media at a really young age, and that leading to other things like sponsorships and stuff like that. So it's very hard. You have to be consistent. Obviously that goes with training and playing and being a good athlete as well. But it's not impossible. Now with everyone having access to Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all these platforms, it is a lot easier than when I started just doing a couple fun videos on YouTube in a really good buddy's basement. So do it for the right reasons. Do it because you're not looking for the clip, the highlight of you scoring, and still has to be about the team, even though you're posting some things about you. But for me, have fun with it, do your best, and don't chase the sponsorships and the crazy highlight goals, right? If you do the process the right way, you'll be winning with your team. You'll get your shots. You have fun doing it at the same time, and that's what it's all about. But for me, the growing the game aspect, doing our camp here, having the kids talk about it, watching the kids post pictures of the camp, of us after the camp just talking hockey, that's what it's truly all about. And that's why I feel so blessed to have my platform to use it that way, because it's not millions and millions of followers, right? It's a good amount of followers, but it's nothing crazy. But when I go to Colombia and do a camp there, when I'm in Mexico playing world championships, or when I'm in France playing pro roller, it's very, very cool to have conversations like they know you a little bit because they're following you and seeing it. Or we hop on the mic and you feel like you know a bit of my background when we haven't met that many times. So it's an exciting journey of where social media is going, and so many paths to take on it, but it's fun seeing a bunch of the influencers try to grow the game as well.
Excellent. I think I just have a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. One of them is being, the top 3 roller hockey tournaments that are out there. Which one do you feel has the best experience overall that you've gone to?
Yeah, it's so hard to say. This is no knock on obviously anybody running these tournaments. All of the people behind the scenes put in an immense amount of effort into these tournaments. And there's so many things that go on. You hear comments about all three of them when something goes wrong or there's delays or whatever. Sadly, that happens, right? Things happen with the tile, this and that. I think everyone's honing that in over the past couple of years. There's always going to be accidents that arise, but for now, I think Palma's at the Palma Pros for the top right now, obviously coming off of a huge, crazy win last year, but an absolutely amazing one for us with Black Ice. Then you look at Narch, huge for me as number 2, and then Tours following up with that. I just love seeing how big the Wish Cup is pushing as well. Obviously being here, we got to talk about it. But for the pro scene, for sure, those three have been killing it for a long, long time. Took me the longest to win an Arch Pro Championship. So that was just a hard one for us to win over the years. And then obviously Black Ice has been kicking pretty good for a while. So that's exciting and really looking forward to another year here coming up.
One of the questions I have for pro, and this is just like comparing it to the RHI, I would love to see full contact at a pro division. And I would love to see all players be under contract and being paid if you're going to be considered a pro player. I think that's one of the stigmas that, like, when you talk about ice hockey versus roller hockey, it's like, how can you say you're pro if you're not getting paid, right? And everyone talks about it, but what do you think, in that aspect? Number one, should we have full contact at the pro level? And if you're going to be pro, should everyone have a contract and get paid?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think obviously that comes with a lot of funding and a lot of rules and tons of stuff like that, which makes it hard. I think maybe you lose some ice hockey players if there is full contact because you don't want to, ruin your regular career.
Good point.
And these are things that we obviously love doing and want to do, but I think there are guys that can possibly get hurt worse if there is that. The contact thing, I guess, is always a thing that is brought up to me. I don't think it's made for our game of roller hockey because of the speed and the 4-on-4. And I think if you watch a big game, there's a lot of contact.
I agree.
Especially around the ball. On the boards, on the wall, ton of contact. Open ice, you can't. You'll get exposed. So personally, I like that it's where it is right now with contact. I would rather have not as much stick work, especially in the playoffs. I feel like a lot of stick work, you get away with it. A guy like me trying to make moves, trying to do it, you feel it. Every tournament in the playoffs, you get a couple extra whacks that obviously you don't want to call probably, but it gets a little out of hand where when you get hit, you're going to get hit, and that's what it is to play on. So I think the game could be more exciting. Like that's what I think everyone wants to see when we sit back and slow the game down. I think the best teams do that and we win, which it's so hard to say. But then at the same time, you want to see run and gun. You want to see a lot of goals. You want to see all those things. It's a beautiful game when you know it and love it and play it. And if it wasn't for our Black Ice team playing a certain style, which is a little bit, set back, a little bit slower sometimes, I mean, that's what helps my game as well. But at the same time, the crazy exciting games are high scoring, full throttle, turnovers everywhere, and a lot of big plays. I don't know if we'll ever get there. It might change eventually if some stipulations in the game eventually arise. 3 ice has a really cool one. The no take back rule. Once you cross the red line, you can't come back. So obviously in roller, we're resetting, coming up with speed. If you don't have it, we're throwing it back. I love that a lot of the teams for us now, you can't stay behind the net, right? So a lot of teams are moving on the side of the net, moving up, trying to find those little inklings in the rules to break. But for me, like I've said multiple times in this podcast, like roller hockey is a passion of mine. So when you see a team strategically try to win and it's not run and gun, it's very impressive because it's so hard to play against, so hard to control the puck so long. And that's why I think there's a bunch of top pro teams right now that play a very similar way to win. And that's why you keep seeing us and them always in those big games at the end of the tournaments.
I agree. I think roller hockey at that level, at the pro level, is a lot like chess, right? Like a lot of teams, they get frustrated when you play that. Like, okay, slow it down. Some teams get frustrated and that's just enough to like take the win home, right? Control the game, puck control. Well, this has been exciting. I'm glad that I finally got to sit down with you and talk with you. I really appreciate everything you do for the game. I think you're doing a wonderful job. You're very inspiring for a lot of other people. And I just want to wish you the best of luck. So if anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can check it out on Instagram at jschiavo44, as well on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. I got all the platforms. And then on YouTube, it's just jschiavo44 as well. But yeah, definitely check it out. Show some love. Put some comments in of why you love roller hockey. I always love seeing that stuff.
Thanks again for tuning in. John Schiavo, like I said, you guys know where to find him. Give us a like and follow. Until next time, keep playing hockey.